Friends, today's NRI Samai program from Los Angeles brought to you commercial free by listeners like you. Your generous donations make possible for us to stay commercial free, and today's show is pre-recorded. If you have a question for the guest, please send an email to nrisamai@gmail.com. We will follow up with the guest and find the answer for you. Thank you for your support.
Friends, welcome back to NRSMI. This is Sri Hari Atluri, your host for today's show. Today we have with us Renu Singh ji, the founder and president of a non-profit organization. It's called Samadhan. Renu ji is an advocate by profession, and she's also a human rights activist. Among others, part of what Samadhan does is to rescue girls and women who are victims of the violence. Let's hear more about Samadhan from Renu ji herself. Renu ji, welcome to NRSMI.
Thank you, Sri Hari.
We are very thankful that you could join us. But to begin with, could you tell us a little bit about Samadhan? When it was started, what is the mission of what Samadhan does?
Sure, Sri Hari ji, and let me say that it is really a great pleasure to be with you on your radio show. And Samadhan is a non-profit organization, and it is now more than 2 decades this organization is working as registered NGO in entire India, operating from Lucknow and Dehradun. And myself, I am now in mid-50 and my early 50s, and last 35 years I am into this. And when I started this organization, it was post-emergency era, you can say, when in India we were witnessing a huge infringement of human rights, and our democracy was a little bit in shambles. So that was the time I was just in my teenage, and I came across one horrifying case, and that was a little girl, a little poor and backward caste girl, was victim of incest. And I wanted to rescue her, but somehow due to my young age and my limited resources and capacity at that time, I was hardly 15, I could not do much about her. But that particular incident was a U-turn in my life, and I just decided that this kind of incident should not happen anywhere on the planet, and that was the main, turning point where Samadhan actually, the seeds were sown.
I see.
And Samadhan especially works violence against women, and we are, of course, last 35 years as an activist and to more than 21 years as an organization, we are working tirelessly towards our mission. And our mission is very simple. We want that common women of India, that is a larger percentage, that is 70% of women population of India, should have direct access on criminal justice system and social justice system. And unless we do not get that, our democracy cannot be called inclusive. So that is the main mission that Samadhan is working to.
I see. I know it's been a long time, but I just wanted to get some more information about what inspired you. You were talking about a situation about a little girl, and you were 15, which is a very, very young age for anybody to
Absolutely.
Think about others. So if you can give little more details on what happened, that will be great.
Yeah, sure. In fact, that was it's long back that when this incident took place, I was hardly 15 years old, and in fact, I was coming back from my school, and I used to drive a motorbike those days. So I stopped near a petrol pump to take petrol. And there, just adjoining to that petrol pump, there was a ration shop where the ration used to be, the government ration shop, it is called, and a long queue was there. A lot of people were standing there with their bags, containers, and etc. And when I stopped there, suddenly I saw this little girl, hardly 12, who was having two bags for maybe she wanted to buy the rations from the shop. And when I looked at her, I saw that this blood was rolling down from beneath her skirts, and it was her legs were smeared with fresh blood, and her face was looking traumatized, scared. And suddenly when I looked at her, the eye contact was there, and I saw I was very sensitive since my childhood, and when I looked into her eyes, I could see the pain and the horror and the fear in her eyes. And I don't know what reflex, that was a fraction of seconds that a reflex came into my mind, and under that impulse and reflex, I pulled her from her hands and just put her on my motorbike and just ran away from there. And I could only hear the noise from behind, and this girl was telling me in her language that, my sister, do not leave me. Just save me. Yeah. Don't leave me. Don't quit me. And yes, I just went away from there. And then this girl, when we reached, because I had to reach to my home only, so I reached at my home, but I could see that some people chasing me from, so I immediately took her to my backyard and locked the gate and told my mom that this is what has happened and this is the girl happened. And my mom, by looking at the girl and her condition, she immediately understood that the girl is in trouble and she is sexually assaulted. And then my mother called her best friend, and who happened to be a doctor those days, and she was a government doctor, and my mother called her at home, and she immediately told my mom, and the girl also then started talking, and I was crying furiously because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know whether I have done right thing, because when a lot of people reached our home and they started banging the gate of our lawn, and they were shouting and screaming their throats out literally, and they were telling that bring the girl out, bring the girl out. And the girl told that the incident, that the incest was actually done by her own father, by her own biological father, and because she had lost her mother in childhood, and father was remarried another woman, and that woman was pregnant, and she was not there, and that is how. And her father was, of course, a drunkard, and it's not that he was uneducated; he was a junior engineer, and he did this to her, and it was a prolonged crime which this little girl was undergoing. And my heart was literally shattered to see her condition, and so was my mother's. And then my mother immediately understood the risk, so she informed my father. And my father that time was principal in a degree college in Lucknow. So my father, by the time he could come, there was a tremendous noise, and it was a chaos, total chaos. And before some disaster could take place, my mother asked me to go away from there with the girl, to shift from there somewhere at safer place. So we just started, but by that time my father reached, and by that time some people also called police, and police was telling my father that the victim, the girl who was with us, about her only, the child, that give it back, hand it over to her parents or father who was there, the criminal, the culprit. So my father tried to tell them that, look, the girl should not be handed over back to the same people, those who have done wrong with her. So let us take and reach the girl for right treatment. But those days conditions were very poor. We did not have the laws, the kind of laws which we have now. And post-emergency period, police, I don't know, but yes, the kind of police you are seeing now, those police reforms were totally missing. Police was very different, they were very arbitrary those days. But even policemen understood that something really disastrous has taken place. And then he said that he could not do anything, better give the girl back to parents. Somehow, when me, the girl, and that lady, we went out, and my father and somehow some people told that the girl's mother lives in nearby village, so she should be called. So that woman was not only called, but she was brought by some people over there. And I had to cut short, I'll just tell you because it's a long story, but then we had to let go that girl to her biological mother's hands. And at least my father said that at least her own mother is there to take care of her. So let us give it before they could do something bad or something negative or destructive. The girl was given to her mother's hand, and police helped the mother to take the girl back to her village. And believe it, there was no FIR because lot of political people, lot of supporters started calling in police people not to file any case or nothing. My father wanted to do an FIR, but it was not so easy though. Even now it's not easy. If a girl, if a woman is raped in India, lodging an FIR is real Herculean task. So those days you can imagine. 3 decades ago, what could have been the condition? So nothing doing. And I was very upset because I could not do much about that girl. So later I one day escaped from my school and went to the village, and after searching for her home, I came to know that the girl was, the 12-year-old girl was also pregnant, and then she was married to a 42 or 48 years old man over there, who was a old man, much older even than her father. And after a few days of her marriage to that man, maybe a week or so, she was found dead, floating in the village pond. And there's a story, this whole thing made a very, very, very strong dent on my tender psyche, that I was a teenager and I couldn't do anything. So I was traumatized. Virtually I was traumatized. I came home and told the things to my mom, and my mom used to console me that, see, whatever best we could have done, we have done as citizens, but a lot of things we could not have taken into our hands because the parents have got so much of locus on their word. And those days, state did not have much of interference, as child rights convention was not there, nothing was there. So this happened, and I was traumatized. But somewhere in my mind, things were that I was looking for solution. What's the solution? Everybody was talking about problem. Everybody was talking about human rights violations and this and that. But nobody was there to give a solution. So solution, that is in Hindi and in Sanskrit is Samadhan. This name came in my mind, and I made a group with many other people. So that this is, in short, I told you. Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about a few decades ago, and you were a girl, teenage girl. Not very common for a teenage girl to start an NGO or any initiative, right? It's you must have some kind of a help from your parents or some relatives.
Definitely, you are right, Shariji, because a 15-year-old girl could not do much, and those days there were so many restrictions, for girls to move out even. But I was little bit, I consider myself luckier and fortunate enough to have a very enlightened family, where since last 9 generations we have all the women even educated in our family. So my grandmother actually used to support me. My grandmother was a freedom fighter also, and at the same time she was into journalism. So that activism bug was there in my blood and veins. So I think that was there, and she supported me. My father always encouraged me, motivated me. But yes, as any other mom in the world, my mom used to be a little bit scared about the risk and about my tender age. And she used to tell that I was too innocent to get into these kind of activities. But yes, I got a lot of support from my family, from my friends. And there was no money indeed, because my father was just a principal, a teacher, you can say educationist. So those days purse were not that good. Though we did not have cash, but we had a lot of spirit in our family. And I used to teach French to people, those who wanted to learn French, and I used to earn a little bit money with that. And some money I used to do with translation work and interpretation work with people. So this money was pulling in, and sometimes my father used to give me some money. So believe it, when we started Samadhan, in fact, I was not even having $1 as my capital money to start an activity. Yeah. But then when the spirits are there and commitment is there, and we have a mission in front, really resources kept on building. And even now Samadhan works with very less resources, but we are doing meaningful work. And since we are very focused, we are very focused on that we are focusing violence against women, and we are looking and doing every possible thing on the planet to see to it that our entire planet becomes free of violence, and at least women, half the population of this world, should be, able to live free from fear and violence, and there should be peace. Yes, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's now that we have so many resources, there is internet, you can talk to other people and so forth. So it's probably easier for.
This makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, this last 1.5 decade actually has changed our life. When the social networking and internet is come, because when we started our work, especially when I started my work and working for women and trying to save them from violence and all these things. So those days the biggest problem with us was this only, that there was no communication and there was a total, it was a blackout sort of situation. That there was, if I used to get into mess any time, lack of information and lack of communication sometimes used to take toll, and even now some few things we can do without any problem, because now we have means to communicate with people. We know how to put our things. We can convince people to come and join the mission and all. But those days when I used to work in the field, it was so difficult without any communication, and then the access is biggest problem for common people in India. Even now, if you go to villages, you have phone, you have computers, you have everything in the village also. But the problem is there is no electricity. Sometimes, even now the state of Uttarakhand where I live, more than 1,000 villages are there where there is no electricity. So even if a woman has got phone or everything at home, she has no connectivity with the outer world.
Friends, NRI Samay is a non-profit independent alternate media from Los Angeles, USA, which brings positive stories from grassroots activists from all corners of India and across the world. NRI Samay does not rely on corporate funding and our shows are commercial free. We only rely on your donations. Corporate funded media is driven by the TRP rating and profits are blurring the distinction between news and entertainment. Why do our news channels talk so much about cricket, movies, accidents, popular figures' personal lives, babies of heroines, gossips, etc., while they should be covering the struggles of people, inequality in our society, rural issues, and border security issues? Why did our media raise some corruption crusaders to the sky on one day and shut them off completely when graft charges were raised on those corporate sponsors? Media relies so much on the corporate funding and government blessings that they cannot report independently. NRI Samay is different. We don't accept funds from any corporations and hence our shows are commercial free. We completely rely on donations from you. Please consider donating to NRI Samay and please go to nrisamay.com and donate generously. This is the only way together that we can continue NRI Samay. All donations are kept transparent on nrisamay.com. And if you have any questions, please write to nrisamay@gmail.com.
So, Samadhan, what are the different initiatives you guys are taking to address these issues that you are talking about?
Yeah, very good question, Sri. Let me first say that your questions are really great, because I think people of international community, they all must understand what exactly Samadhan is doing. Samadhan is not a big organization at all, but yes, the mission of Samadhan is definitely very big and far-reaching. We are trying to outreach our people. Mainly we have divided our mission into few things which are the main thrust area. One and foremost and topmost is police reform in India. It's a dire need of the time that now we have meaningful police reforms. There are pseudo reforms, of course. I call it pseudo. See, any reform, Sri Hariji, you must agree with me, that any reform, unless it reaches the last person in the village, the last woman in the village who is underprivileged woman, who is underprivileged citizen of India, unless those reforms are reaching there, we cannot call it real reform. These are all pseudo things. Yeah. So police reform police reform should be, we are not, we Indians or any citizen of globe, because I am just not Indian, I am a citizen of globe myself. And anyone on the planet should understand one thing, that all the laws, all the acts, all the reforms, all the democratic, initiatives, whatever any democratic and civilized country or nation is doing, it's meaningless until unless it reaches its own people for whom it is meant. Because we the women on globe, we are not meant for laws or acts. Rather, acts and laws and everything is meant for us. If we talk about constitution is for us. Human is not for constitution. Human is not for laws. Everything is meant for human. So that is how, until unless the end user is not being benefited, until unless the end user is not able to outreach or access all these things, it's meaningless. And how can ever on the planet 1.24 billion of population, and you make 50% of that, is today also, we have a situation, you go ask anyone, you yourself are from India, you know it very well, that no woman in India has got courage to go all alone in any police station and file a complaint. No ordinary, no common woman can dare to do that. First, she would always search for someone who could, guard her, to go inside. So what kind of situation? Now this is a paranoid kind of situation which we are suffering. Absolutely. Because every woman I speak, I'm very interactive person, and I'm very talkative also. So I always go and mix up with people, with women of all walk of life, and I always ask them one question: if right now anything happens to you, any sexual assault, for example. First of all, women do not like this kind of questions to be asked. But then I ask them, and when I ask them this question, what would you do first? Most of them say that we have not yet thought that we can get raped. But then I say, then why you are so scared to walk alone on the road? Then they immediately tell that, see, we are women and we are always at risk. See, we are vulnerable, and so we have to be very careful that we should not get raped. But if we get raped, we do not know what to do. So this really, it bugs me. Why woman doesn't know or does not want to know that what should she do if a sexual assault at all takes place? And believe it, that every woman has confided in me confidentially on conditional confidentiality. I always ask them, are you scared that you can get raped? They say yes. Even inside our homes, we are always scared. Even while going out to the school, college, workplace, one thought which is all pervading, always in our mindset, we should not get raped.
Yeah.
Maybe we would
very unfortunate situation, because
it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate.
If somebody is afraid like that, it's hard for them to grow out of it and become.
You cannot develop under these fearful conditions. 2-month-old babies are being raped, and 80 years old women are being raped. Can you imagine the situation? Can you imagine what kind of society we are?
From Samadhan side, you were talking about the police reforms. So are you reaching out?
Police reform is a primary. Yes, theory. Police reform. Then after that we talk about prison reform. And next thing, because we can find that all these things are intertwined. We cannot talk about police reform unless we talk about or we look into the prison reform and then the judicial reforms. And after judicial reform is most important are electoral reforms, so that our democracy can be inclusive. So yeah.
Specific. So what kind of events are you doing? Are you doing do you go and meet other organizations who are working in this area?
Yes.
Do you meet politicians or?
Certainly. Certainly, what we do actually, how we are working. This is an organization which is for the women, by the women, and of the women. So we women, all walk of life women, what we are trying to communicate with our policymakers. We are trying to every year, twice in a year, every 6 months, we come out with our charters where we put what are the things should be done, and we share those charters with smaller organizations and organizations which are just working like us. And through the help of our helpline, this is a 24/7 helpline, on which any woman can call and talk to us. Through this helpline also we are talking about it, and some radio channels are also taking care of us here, like Radio Khushi, 90.4 FM channel is there. They also do a weekly program where we go and talk about our issues, and this is how we try to, and we always tell one thing, that whenever there is some change in law, some amendment is needed, so we also do our drafting and send it to our government. So what we are doing, that we go and do the legal awareness programs and camps. And women cannot reach, when women cannot reach police, when women cannot reach and access the law. So it's high time that we outreach them. They are right on their doorstep. So for that, Shriji, one of the best program which is just now we are pilot testing it, and it is already launched by Governor of Uttarakhand himself, His Excellency flagged it off. We have come out with a legal mobile van. It's a bus which is equipped with the entire office system, the office automation. Everything is there right inside that. And all our women, they themselves are survivors of violence. They are driving, and they are also paralegal volunteers trained by DLSA, by the state. And these are the women going place to place, like they are visiting more than 122 talukas, that is tahsils. They are going there, and they are talking one-to-one with the women, those who are victimized by any kind of violence. So we are telling them some of the women are victims, but they do not know that this is what is called violence.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were talking about the helpline that you have. Can you tell about that? How many calls do you receive? What kind of calls you receive? And how do you follow up with this?
Yes, this is an open helpline. It's a 24/7 helpline, and the phone number is there. And there is only one phone number, because we do not have kind of funding that we get, those multiple terminals and all. You won't believe that such limited resources, still we are receiving at least 10 to 20 calls from our state itself and from beyond also, because all the nearby states like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar also we get call, Maharashtra, Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, we get. And the National Record of Crime Bureau, if you see.
I'm sorry, what are the types of calls you are receiving? If you can give maybe an example, that will help us to understand.
Like sometimes we receive call of a woman who says that she's too scared to talk to us because she is being raped by one of her closest family member, like sometimes by some elderly person in the family. Sometimes a woman tells us that she's being treated cruelly by her in-laws, or sometimes even women call us, and little girls, like young girls, I should say, college-going girls or school-going girls, they call us and tell us that they are being victimized by sexual exploitation, but they cannot go and complain to their parents or to college, because it's so much of a stigma, the mindset of people is like that. The moment a woman or a girl reports that she is being sexually assaulted or exploited or raped, immediately it is connected with her character. The next question other person says is always whom she trusts, that he or she should be a person who would protect her. The same person immediately start asking questions and attacking the same girl, that it's her fault that she is being, raped.
So if you receive a call like that, what are the options that you have pursued in the past? Like, do you send post?
Yes, there are. First and foremost, we immediately ask the caller that what kind of help she wants, she's expecting us to do immediately. So the first 30 seconds are actually very crucial of our conversation, because most of the time girl is not able to tell her proper address also. So now we have got technology, so we can find out her location and anything, but earlier it was not there. So we are trained that first 30 seconds we do not waste. We immediately ask her name if she wants to tell, and place where she is calling, and we immediately ask her, are you right now, are you safe or not? If she says yes, she is safe, then we continue the conversation. If she says no, I'm not safe, I immediately need a rescue, immediately we have our own system through which now we are equipped with all the mobile numbers, telephone numbers of the entire places. Sometimes we take help of police, sometimes we take help of voluntary organizations which are working in those areas. We are in connection with them, and we ask the girl, does she want to be taken away from the place she's calling, or she wants help right there? Like so many times girls decide not to move from their homes. So many women don't want to, because if they move out of their homes, it's gone. Because even now, 50% to 70% of Indian population thinks if a girl, unmarried or married, quits the house, leaves the home without the permission of it, or against the wishes of their family members, despite being sexually assaulted, she would not be accepted back by the same. They say that now she's gone out, it's finished. So girls are too scared to step out of their homes, despite that they are being victimized. So the first thing we ask them is, what do you want? How you want us to help you? If a girl says that she wants to be rescued from there, we immediately try to find out next thing. And second thing, there is always one option we give to the girl. Either we can help her there where she is, and we would get into touch with the legal authorities over there, or we always tell her that Samadhan's doors are open. Our Rape Crisis Intervention Center is always open for girls without any condition. Unconditionally, from entire India, any woman above the age of 18 can just walk into the organization and as a beneficiary, and we would not ask any questions about her ID, nothing. After we provide her all the initial help and medical aid and whatever help she needs, the legal aid, and then we talk to her, and that is how. But within a 1 month time, it's a short stay period. Once she is, because most of these girls come totally deconstructed, Srihariji, deconstructed emotionally. So we have to see this physically too. So we have to reconstruct her. And 30 days, once she is, we gather the pieces back again and make her one piece. And then immediately we give her a plan which she should sit and talk with us. And there is group therapy. We all sit together, all the survivors sit together, and we ask the girl now what she wants us to do, how she's going to help us, so that we help her in turn. And if she opts for that, we groom her for that. And then we put her, and it's not necessary that to study she should stay always in our center. No. Any place in India she wants to study law, we would see to it that her fees is sponsored and her stay arrangements are done, and see to it that she is not exploited by anyone.
Yeah,
that is what Samadhan is working.
Absolutely. This is a lot of great information. I think you shared the pains of the woman and what Samadhan is doing to address at least some of those, and your vision. But if somebody is listening to this conversation, if they want to help support you guys in any way they can, what are they?
We would welcome them. We would welcome such Samaritans, such global cosmopolitan people. If they want to join our hands, they can call me on 098977575509, Srihariji. And my email ID is samadhan09@rediffmail.com. So they can always get in touch with us.
Samadhan09@rediffmail.com.
Rediffmail.com. They can always write me an email. And one thing I would like to tell you, very interesting. When I was very young, I always used to listen to TV shows and radio shows of Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, wow.
And a die-hard fan of her, And my dream, even now, because Oprah Winfrey is one who has influenced me when I was a young lady. That is when I was in my 20s. And I went out of India also. And Oprah Winfrey has really influenced me a lot. And I think I have a lot in common with her. The way she thinks about women and the way she thinks about the violence, So she has influenced me a lot, and I really seriously wish that this show, if Oprah Winfrey is listening to it, I really wish that she should visit my center.
Yeah, I think that would be really fantastic. I hope your message reaches.
Oh, lovely! If that could happen, because Oprah Winfrey started a university where all the survivor of violence could go and study free of cost and study of law. And that was there years ago. That thing really appealed me, and I also thought that yes, legal empowerment is very important, and legal empowerment on paper is not everything. The accessibility of women to legal system, to criminal justice system is very important. So this is one thing which I wanted to share with you. Yes. And another person spiritually has always made a place, and in my nucleus of my heart, I should say, is Mata Amritanandamai. From Kerala. She's my guru also, and she's my spiritual guru. And she also has really influenced me, because the compassion which she has for all the people which she has taught is this, that unconditionally. Like for us, there is no woman we can, divide into nationalities and barriers and frontiers, that this is Indian woman, this is Pakistani woman, this is English woman, French woman. Woman is just woman. And we are all one, entire planet. So we call ourselves global citizens. We cannot be really put under foundation of nationalities. So this entire planet's women are one, and we are women of globe.
Absolutely. That's a very wonderful thing you said. Thank you.
Thank you so
very
much,
Renuji. I hope
thank you so much. I believe it.
What you are doing is wonderful, and you'll have a lot of success in doing so.
Thank you so much, and I know your best wishes are with me and millions of listeners of your radio. So I'm very sure they would be listening to us, and their blessings, their best wishes are definitely with our mission, and keep supporting us. And one thing I would request to all of you, please see to it that we, especially Samadhan women, are kept alive with dignity. And even that, if we are kept alive with dignity, certainly the world will see that one day there will be no violence against women. Definitely, this planet will be free from violence. So please see to it and keep supporting us.
I hope we'll see that day very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. God bless you. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Have a good day, you too.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Friends, if you liked today's show, please go to youtube.com/NRI Samay and click on the subscribe button. You will get notified every time we publish a new show. And you can also like us on our social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, and Google+.